Welcome back to another adventure in the coaching experience. What is true? That's how we help others develop a philosophy of life. Understanding what is true and the values that we have and the positions we have and the beliefs that we have. That's what this is about. I have found that the greatest help in meeting any problem with decency and self-respect, and whatever courage is demanded, is to know where you yourself stand. That is, to have in words what you believe and act upon. William Faulkner shared that with us. Now you see, the coaching experience is always caught up in the ongoing dilemmas and difficulties of what it takes to live well and be successful. On one hand, it is important to be thoughtful, reflective, strategic, even philosophical. On the other hand, there is the everyday need to perform, and perform in many ways that are just tactical, practical, and hopefully profitable. So, with a healthy respect for the performance imperative and the profit motive, we affirm the ongoing value of developing within a coaching conversation a statement of principles and values that can guide you and the client. Now, the above quote by Faulkner says it well. Peter Kostenbaum, a business philosopher and a writer, often says that until the questions of the meaning of life, greatness, and destiny are addressed, we cannot make an intelligent decision about what to do tomorrow morning, much less set a strategy for a company or for a human life. Kostenbaum drives the message home with this statement. Nothing is more practical than for people to deepen themselves. The more you understand the human condition, the more effective you are as a business person. Human depth makes business sense. So, here we go. The value of a personal philosophy statement, and perhaps how we can make it. From our own personal experience, we are convinced that when what you believe about some area of life experience is clear, you are more effective in life, work, and leadership. We believe that. You spend less time wondering what to do both practically and ethically. And that's vital to good time management. When you know what is true, you can make decisions easier, faster, and with less second guessing of yourself and even of your actions. You've got to know. You have to know what you want in life. This is central to acting on your intentions. When you know what you want, you realize that all there is left then is time management. You'll manage your time to achieve your goals because you clearly know what you're trying to achieve in your life. Patch Adams put that together for us. Eventually, a person who wants to lead a significant as well as a successful life should open up the junk drawer of his or her life where he or she has collected an assortment of experiences, judgments, prejudices, beliefs, convictions, sentiments, and calculations, and sort things out. Some beliefs need to be kept and embraced. Some other thoughts and ideas need to be discarded. Some should be modified as to what is true. Then carefully and thoughtfully, the drawer of beliefs about what is true, what is good, authentic, noble, and gracious should be put back into our lives and into our businesses with renewed confidence, intensity, and with purpose. Now, in previous chapters and episodes where we discussed building a better life and building a business enterprise, we emphasized the importance of creating a philosophical guide, both in a significant circle of our personal life and as a strategic theme for any business or service. Now let's do it for ourselves and for our clients. It is vital for the coaching experience. Start building a philosophy of life by asking some questions, some important questions. As we continue this guide, it will become increasingly personal. That's right. That is purposeful. We are talking about developing a personal philosophy of life. I will use my own experience and conclusions, not as a directive or even a recipe of how to do this work, but merely as an example of how one pathfinder finding his way. Each coach and each client must find his or her own way. But if a past travel guide helps, so much the better. Perhaps in part 2 of this chapter, I may share with you my top 10 principles about a philosophy of life and practice. Again, this is not for your adoption, but merely as a way for a conversation to begin, perhaps in a response and possibly a reaction to what I've discovered what is true. Now, you don't have to do that, but that could be helpful. Now, you start by building your philosophy of life the way Socrates, who said that the unexamined life is not worth living, did. You ask good questions. Here are some good thinking and challenging questions to see what comes up in your thoughts and what can be put into words of truth, beliefs, and convictions. Okay, why are we human beings here on planet Earth? And why are you here? What do you have to do to be successful? And by the way, what is success? Is there a God? Well, then what is God like? And what difference does it make to you? What are the rules of the road for living well? And how do you know that they are true? What is the best way to help others be successful? What is happiness? And how do you achieve it? Continuing. What is the best way to know what is true, authentic, noble, and gracious? Good questions outrank easy answers. Thanks, Paul Samuelson. Now, a little bit more on the questions we want to talk about. Now, these 7 questions are only the beginning. There are literally thousands of questions that could be asked, and as any conversation on these subjects goes forward, many more will come up. There is a subtext to these questions. The coaching conversation will lead to statements of opinion, facts, and truth claims. The ideal way to follow up is to keep 3 more questions in mind. In fact, some of these are actually embedded in the questions themselves. The trinity of clarity questions that can be asked when you hear answers with opinions, facts, and truth claims are, here we go. What do you mean by that? Well, how do you know that? Number 3, what difference does it make? Now, the goal is awareness of what each person believes to be true. What justifies or supports that belief? And does it have any effect on our lives? Now we continue. What can you do with what you believe is true? What can you do? Okay. The things we learn from all of the words, reflections, thoughts, and ideas that come from these questions in the coaching experience are helpful in 4 basic ways. Here we go. First of all, understanding what is going on is vital to being human. There is so much in the human experience that does not seem to make sense. Yet we are sense-making creatures. When in the midst of the seeming chaos of life and business, there is some sense of understanding of why things are the way they are, or appear to be. There is a calmness, a lack of fretfulness that can be a part of how we do each day. Calmness is the cradle of power. Josiah Holland. Next, beliefs helps us see future events more clearly. There's an old line that says, what goes around comes around. Well, it's based on an even older line. What a man sows, he reaps. Now, these phrases are based on a deep belief about what is true in the human experience. Wise people often have the seeming gift of predicting things with great clarity because of their philosophy of life. They sense how the world works. Therefore, they have the ability to predict consequences based on experience and truth. And it's good and valuable life stuff to have. Now, the twin to the gift of better prediction is the ability to make quicker and better decisions. I looked a client straight in the eye as he struggled with an important decision. It had really paralyzed him for several days. I listened carefully and then said, I thought we had agreed that we would not compromise on issues at this level. He smiled in recognition of a principle to which he had agreed. The decision was done. Just like that. Finally, remember that adversity is part of the plan. One of my core beliefs is that adversity makes us stronger, and that in our life projects there will be adversity. Sometimes this adversity will be only mild difficulty, and at others it will be things that give us bone-chilling fear. These things will keep us awake at night. Yes, adversity is part of the plan. A strong belief and value system helps us to weather the adversity. Adversity is to be expected, sometimes even welcomed. Such beliefs and the values to overcome adversity are in the truths embraced by successful people. Just a few final thoughts, okay? The coaching experience for you and I and for many clients may never get to this level of exploration about developing a philosophy of life. As we noted, most of our clients are only seeking performance improvements. They want to be a little more strategic and a little more thoughtful in the future, but they want to be a lot more effective right now. They want practical and profitable counsel that leads to improved, perhaps even breakthrough results. But a good coach continues to remind the client that the issues of developing a life and business philosophy must be addressed at some time in our life. All of us have to meet with others and deal with the questions that can guide us to developing, articulating, and communicating a philosophy of life around critical principles and practices. We have to do that. Change your opinions, keep to your principles, change your leaves, keep intact your roots. Victor Hugo shared that. Now, perhaps a personal statement of a philosophy for life and business. Let's see how this works. Now, as part of the coaching experience and helping you with your coaching practice, may I now offer my attempt at a statement of a philosophy of life on the very subjects that I teach and speak on as a performance coach. I took my own challenge seriously. I sought to clarify what I believe is true about life, success, effectiveness, leadership, personal growth, and relationships. As a possible example for you, here is how I did this important personal work. On many pages, I wrote down statements entitled, What I Believe is True about successful living, performance improvement, not being afraid, and how to live with a calm and collected attitude in the midst of all the stuff of life. and I came up with well over 150 truth claims and beliefs. I then processed, combined, refined, and prioritized until I narrowed it down and came up with the top 10 principles. Then I did the work of seeking to explain them and communicate their meaning and relevance. I do not call upon you to agree with them, copy them, or even adopt them. I do challenge you to seek to understand them. Then, with that understanding, seek to do the work of developing, in full or in part, your own philosophy of life so that you can share it with others and help them develop their own philosophy of life. My philosophy of life is that if we make up our mind what we are going to make of our lives, then work hard toward that goal, we never lose. Somehow we win out. Ronald Reagan taught me that. So here I go. Principles for true success, high performance, and living at peace in our world. Here they go. All lasting change comes from deep personal change. We must assume full responsibility for our lives, our performance, our relationships, and how we respond to what happens to us. Our human experience is full of paradox. We must seek to understand its power and embrace its mystery. The universal principle of cause and effect works in our life to carry us forward or to bring us down. The way we think and the way we talk profoundly influences the destinies we reach, the performance we achieve, and the success we enjoy. The search for and the discovery of purpose and meaning is, in our life and work, are fundamental. They're fundamental to successful living, personal growth, and positive change. Successful living based on purpose, achievement, and joy requires us to be grateful, forgiving people. Successful living requires that we have the courage and faith to take action in the presence of our fears. Successful living, managing our time and money, making the changes we want, and achieving our goals require that we know what we value and what we want in life. We all have to serve somebody. We are made to help others. We live most joyfully and profitably when we seek ways to bring value and service to others. Now there they go. My 10 principles. I would encourage you to go back and perhaps go to the guide and read them. They are the ones that I came up with, and I did this a number of years ago. I think I can add a few more to it now, and maybe I'll take one or two away. But they have served me well. I believe they are true and that they work. And so I'm going to just leave them there for you and see what you do with them. Can you come up with your 10 power principles for life and business? I went through the same exercise when we developed what I called the Christian Entrepreneur Network. I came up with 7 principles and practices just for that organization, for that company, for that project. And I can tell you very strongly that one of my most successful clients was a woman who was struggling, and then we sat down and very simply started writing this down. This is what we believe around here. This is what we believe around here. And we listed, just off the top of our heads, about 11 of them. And she took them and put them on the wall. And they stayed there for years. Sometime later, she said, Stan, whenever I got into trouble, or I kind of messed up, I oftentimes went back to that piece of paper, that ragged piece of paper, and I found that we had not done what we had written down. We had not done what we promised to believe. In some way, we had not lived up to our own. This is what we believe and do and around here. So I leave this part of the program open for you. I'd be glad to help you work just that way. This is what we believe around here. Now, if you would like, I'd be more than happy to actually go through my 10. Yes, those 10. And then I wrote out a very specific paragraph about each one and how it was true and why it was true and how it would work out for me. If you'd like to see that, we can also make that available to you too. But this is the end of this episode. But please remember, many people do not want to go there. Be sure you honor where they want to go. But always make sure that you are operating from somewhere there yourself and helping them to find the principles and the practices and the values and beliefs that will be helpful to them based on their experience and their beliefs and their values. You will do them a great favor. And then if they take it very seriously, that's probably when the breakthrough will come in their life and business. But remember, as the coach, you are to do what is healthy and best for them at that time. But be prepared to live a deeper life and to go into deeper things and to actually view how can I better understand me, myself, the human condition, and what I want out of life and business and success for the people I care about and the people I'm called to serve. We can do that, and I think we can help you do it well. So there we go. Remember, when you can, try and help people to actually build a philosophy of life and business. I'm Stan Houston. This is part of the coaching experience. We'll share more with you. We have one more lesson, and then we'll go back and learn how to put all of them in practice in the life and business that we have. And again, if you'd like to see how I did the 10, I'd be happy to share a very private video with you where I take my 10 and give more definition to them and what they mean to me. All the best and blessings, and I mean that. One of my beliefs is, always close with a blessing. Be always blessing. And all the best and more power to you. Till our next session, bye for now. Please reach out to us. I'm Stan Houston. StanHouston@gmail.com, witradio.net, 520-664-7002, USA.